When I started at Done DIY, I really didn't know much about working with power tools. I approached them with so much caution, my projects were taking twice as long, and I wasn't getting the full use out of the tools. In Tools 101, I'm sharing with you everything you need to know so that you can DIY with confidence. I'm Kirsten Dunn, and this is Done DIY. Today we're breaking down the basics of a tool that should be in everybody's toolkit, a power drill. First, we're going to talk about the anatomy. Here we have the trigger that controls the drill that is sensitive to the amount of pressure that you put on it. At the top here, we have the speed setting. We have 1 and 2. There's a slight difference. And here we have the clutch setting. The clutch controls the amount of power that is behind your drill. So when you're driving a screw and you have it on a lower setting and it meets resistance, the tool is going to disengage. And this is a way to prevent stripping out your screws or driving them too deep. And if you're drilling, you're gonna wanna turn this all the way up to the drill bit symbol. So here in the front, we have the chuck that controls the setting of the teeth. This can be turned manually, or you can hold it and run the drill to tighten or widen it. And then at the bottom, we have a battery that pulls in and out, pretty self-explanatory, and a button to check the battery level. Here we have the forward and back setting. There's also a setting in the middle that's a lock setting. This is super helpful when you're throwing your drill in a bag. Sometimes the trigger can get pushed and it just turns on randomly, so that's a great feature. Now that you understand the anatomy of a power drill, let's talk about how to use it. So the first step is to pick a drill bit that matches the size of your screw. Now the rule with this is to find a drill bit that is the same size as the shaft of the screw without the threads going around it. Now that you have a drill bit picked out, we're going to place this inside of the teeth, and I'm going to hold the drill bit in place and run the drill forward. And this is going to close the teeth around the bit. And then you're going to want to just grab on tight and just make sure it's nice and tight in there. And you can see that that's nice and straight. If you're using a shorter screw like we have here, you can push the drill bit back inside the teeth and actually use the screw to line up the drill bit. And if you're using a particularly short screw and this isn't short enough, you can grab some tape and tape off your drill bit at the correct depth. Now, pre-drilling can help make driving screws easier, and it can help prevent your wood from splitting. The key to drilling is high speed and medium pressure. You want to make sure that you're not leaning on your drill. It should be doing the work for you, but at the same time, applying no pressure can make it take a lot longer. It's important to drill with confidence and to make sure that your drill bit is straight. And this does take a little bit of practice. One little trick is to point your finger down and use that as a guide, because you're more familiar with the direction that your finger's pointing than the direction that the drill is driving. Now we're going to pick a driver bit that matches the head of our screw, which I think is this one. So you're going to place this in, and you're going to want to wiggle it around and make sure that it's nice and snug, because that's what's going to prevent your screw from stripping out. And just like the drill bit, we're opening up the teeth, we're putting this in, holding it in place, making sure it's nice and straight. Now the final step is to drive the screw into place. So you're going to fit it on the end of your driver bit and into your pre-drilled hole, and you're going to want to make sure that the driver bit is directly on top of the screw, because this is how you're going to prevent stripping your screw out. And you can start out slow, but you're going to want to gain speed, especially if you're drilling into something that's tough. Working with a new power tool can feel overwhelming, but we promise it doesn't have to be. The hardest part is picking one out and picking one up. Once you have a few reps under your belt, you'll be drilling and driving with confidence in no time.